But then I'm left with, okay, other than figuring out the mystery, who was the killer and everything, which, they spoil in the middle of the movie.
Yep.
And then literally told us it's like, yep, and he asked me to help him to save you right before the end. Like, literally just spelling it out. So other than the mystery, quote unquote, what am I supposed to get out of this movie?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing.
All these, because I'm thinking then, because it feels like, because there's so many like weird details, like we said, that doesn't make sense, gaps in the writing and all that. Are they actually deliberate that he's trying to make a point? Like, what is the, like we said, we know what the plot is. It's figuring out who the murderer is. What is the story? What is the movie about? Because, once again, we said movies can just be about, action, John Wick, great, example of that.
Yeah.
It's not really, there's a little bit deeper meaning, but it's not really more of a meaning there. It's just action. But, and then you can even have police thrillers like this, like, there's not about anything. It can just be exciting, figuring it out, But that wasn't very exciting in this. So then you're hoping that, well, at least, I got something else out of it. But I didn't.
No.
Did you?
No, and I'm literally scrolling through the trivia to see if there's someone who like put it there.
Yeah.
There's nothing really. Even like there's such stupid details as why is he called Longlegs? What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. He does technically explain it in the first scene. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry I put on my long legs today.
Yeah.
If I took them off, maybe I could look like this." And then he leans down. But that's it.
Into
He's
the camera,
taller than the girls. That's it.
That's about it, yeah. I like imagine then that people when they were possessed walked funny in the movie, but it's like, I don't know if that's true, if I just put that in there myself.
The only one who walks weird is the priest and the camera murders. But I think he's just having like a, oh shucks kind of walk.
Yeah.
Because he's not possessed.
No.
He's a victim,
I'm not finding anything in the trivia that explains it.
No. And then I know some people thought like, well, this does comment on, and it comments on like, being a woman, in a very male-centric profession. Like, that is brought up once. And
yeah,
that
it has nothing
are you scared
to do with
being a lady
anything.
FBI agent? Yeah, that's just like, okay, that's never explored further than that. Other than there's always guys around, and that is specifically a reference to Silence of the Lambs, which if you want to talk about a movie that it's also kind of like, well, it's just it's a plot, pretty straightforward. They figure out, but there it actually takes them up to the ending to figure it out.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, so that's what it means. But the movie also has themes, because she is constantly... It's not like overbearing, it's not what the movie is about, but there is a theme of, being a female in a male-centric workforce.
Sure.
'Cause everyone's taller than her. There's this great shot when she's in the elevator.
Yeah.
She's standing in the elevator, and then it's the camera is at her eye height. And then like 5 guys walks into the elevator, and you can't see their heads because she's literally just reaches them to the shoulder.
Yeah, she's a head shorter, literally.
Yeah, and showing how hard she constantly works so hard in that movie because she has to. Because as a woman, especially in the 90s, this takes place in the 90s, you kind of have to outperform your male colleagues in order to even be
show
noticed.
up, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the whole point of that movie. Not the whole point, but that's part of the point of that movie.
Okay, someone put here, someone gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Has attested it to Longlegs is a dark tale portraying a theme of how children live under a veil with rose-colored glasses, but eventually those come off and you become very alert of the horror surrounding you and the whole world. Yeah,
when they grow up. Everyone does that.
Yeah, that's not
children
the theme of the movie, really.
No, because the children get murdered.
Yeah, none of the only 2 children actually grow up, and one of them grows up in catatonic state.
Yeah,
she doesn't actually grow up,
and that's when they figure it out. that the world is terrible and full of darkness. Now, you don't have...
That's not the theme of the movie, though.
No, exactly. And also, that's every adult, I think, realizes, like, when they grow up and, like, a few years into having a job, paying a mortgage, or, doing your taxes, you realize, like, oh, the world is a fucking hellhole.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sure, they do say, oh, you have to do all the boring stuff that grown-ups do. I guess that's a hint at it, because that's what it is. Yes, the world is a much better place when you're a kid, in general. I'm not saying it's all terrible. I'm joking. But that's not like, oh my god, how insightful. Yeah, the world sucks, and you don't know that until you grow up. Next.
Yeah. I'm scrolling through all of them.
Sure,
I've only seen one 10 out of 10 so far, and it's someone who actually felt uncomfortable and got jump scared. I have to admit, I did get jump scared a couple of times.
But it was
mainly the music sting and just
which I don't fault the movie for doing musical stings, but I mean that's literally what we complain about in bad popcorn scare movies.
Yeah.
That it's just a big musical sting. There's nothing scary actually there.
And like they did the thing where you have shots where there's too much background, so you sort of expect something to happen behind them.
Yeah.
But they never do anymore because that's been done and done, so no one actually does that anymore. But then they still use those shots to kind of go like, hey, you guys who watched movies in the 2000s, you know that there could be someone.
Yeah.
But then they don't do it anymore. I'm like, stop it. Just zoom in then.
Yeah.
Why show so much background if you're not going to use it?
Yeah.
It's to give this it's so empty behind you. You don't know what no, shut up.
Yeah.
But most of the reviews are like middling, and they all go too much promotion, too much fake advertising. They call it, some of them.
Yeah.
It's a bit disappointing. Like, I like the performance, I like the cinematography, but it doesn't really get anywhere. There's no point to the story, and it kind of loses everything because you had such high expectations.
Yeah, and that's
what we said.
Yeah, and that's what. Yeah, I want to emphasize that a little bit more. But you mentioned it there. Yeah. I think this is a victim of overhype. Because they did, like, for this little small movie that, honestly, it could have just been released, like, one trailer and then 2 weeks later the movie is released. That's usually how movies like this happen. But because they promoted it for so long, and with this very tactical promotion with the cryptic clips being released and not even telling us what the title was or anything like that, and then really leaning into the whole, people are scared of the movie, we're going to lean into that. It really built it up, and I'm not saying I'm smarter than other people, but I think a lot of people just ate that up, and then was like, oh yeah, I was super scared of it because I'm supposed to be scared. For me, it's like, oh yeah, this looks super interesting, but then when it doesn't deliver on that, it feels like the trailers and the posters and all that scammed me. It's like, that wasn't what the thing was. That's why I was thrown out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm, and the more we talk about it, I was hoping that we were gonna figure out that maybe it is better than I think it is, but no. Some details, yes, but in the long run, I still don't see the point of it.
Someone I follow on Letterboxd literally said, like, because she likes these kinds of weird, strange, creepy movies. That's her thing.
Sure.
Or their thing. I'm assuming it's her. I'm sorry. But they're pointing out that, like, it's frustrating that I can't quite put my finger on why I don't love something that I should love. Should being as in, this is right up my alley. This is my kind of movie normally.
Exactly.
But I can't love it.
And
imagery is haunting. The score is unsettling. It looks beautiful. And Blair Underwood is stellar. Which one was Blair Underwood? Was that the mom?
That's the cop. Yeah.
Right.
His name is Blair. I know.
Oh, right. Yeah. I find myself feeling more invested in the first half than the second half.
Definitely. When it's
even though I'm uncertain as to why I'm weirdly on the fence about this, there's one thing I'm certain of. I don't know what this means. We T-Rex fans do not claim long legs. I don't know what that means.
Well, T-Rex is the band that keeps being brought up in the beginning, and I think most of the things he sings are T-Rex lyrics.
Oh, okay.
I guess it's just a band he enjoyed. I don't know if they were like. I never heard them being like referenced to devil worship or anything.
Are they the opposite of long legs because they have short arms or what?
Yes! That's it.
That's the only thing I can think of.
He loves T-Rex because he has long legs.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. But yeah, no, I want to just to go back to the overgrown expectations of this. I think this is one of the movies that people really wanted to like.
Yes.
And also it's one of those, and some people really did like it, so then the rest are like, they don't want
And I have to like it too.
they don't want to appear dumb because I didn't get it or I didn't like it. So they don't want people saying, well, I guess you gotta read up on your media literacy, pal,
Yeah.
because this movie's actually great, you just don't get it. Like, no, I get it. I'm getting that feeling, like it's a
little bit
FOMO almost, you know.
almost,
we never used it, but it kind of fits actually.
It's so weird that most people won't understand it, but if you say you don't understand it, you're not cool.
Exactly.